All right, we're going to be putting a fourth row in this 2017 Chevy Suburban. We're going to be using these seats over here. We bought these seats off of eBay. They are the third row seats out of a Cadillac Escalade, a 2012 Cadillac Escalade. And we're going to be using these brackets right here. So these brackets, we also got off of eBay. There's a couple people who sell these. But these are universal brackets out of or for a 2000 to 2014, right? 2012, something like that.
Yeah, I think 2014.
2014 Chevy or GMC. So these are the brackets we're going to use. We're going to try to bolt them onto this steel bar right here and then put those in the back of the car. All right, so together these seats are about 4 foot wide. We've already set them in the car to make sure that that fits all right, and it does. It's perfect. We've taken out this. This is the storage compartment that just comes standard on these. There's just 2 easy hand tightened bolts. You pull those out and you can take the whole storage compartment out. And now we've got this, which is nice because it's got carpet already. We're going to put in a rubber liner even on top of that, but it's just nice to know that you've got this carpet here even if you don't want to use the rubber. So here's our setup for the brackets. So the brackets that we bought came with this diagram here. So you want to come in close on this and show everybody. This is the diagram. It's got distances between each bracket that we need. And so I just took that and I've laid it out here on these 2 steel bars. And again, I got these from Lowe's, so pretty easy to find these. These are 3-inch by 4 foot steel bars. They fit perfectly in there. You don't have to trim them or anything. They go right in. These brackets then, I've laid out according to that diagram. And you can kind of see, I just marked the middle, went off the middle to the edge of the first bracket, and then the brackets are each 6 inches. And so, or these ones are, and then from there I followed diagram for the distance from there to there. Similarly with the back brackets, or the front brackets, I guess these would be. With these front brackets, I centered the middle bracket, measured from here to here, and then centered those. And I've marked all of the bolt holes, and I'm going to use this titanium steel step bit to drill out these so I can bolt these to the bar. And as I said before, the idea is once I've done that, I'm going to use the steel bar to bolt all these brackets through into the frame of the car. I've already been under the car and I've located those. We'll show you that later, but for now I'm going to start on these bolt holes. See if that fits. All right. Perfect. All right, we finished drilling all of our holes, and as you can see, each bracket has its holes, and these are the bolts that came with the bracket set. And we had to use this cobalt bit with the Milwaukee drill. We started out with the Ryobi drill set. And it worked for a while. It just was a lot faster to go that way. All right, so I've changed something, and I want to let you know before the video goes on, because you'll see in later parts of the video that these bolts are different than they are right now. So what I wanted to do, initially I had it set up to where the nut and the washer were on the bottom of the bracket, and I had planned on putting 2 more bolts on the sides just to level it out so I could raise the seat up a bit off of the floor of the car. And you can still do that if you want, but testing that out, I realized I don't really need that extra room. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I actually want more of the space above the headrest than I do to the ground. So I flipped these over so that the washer and the nut are on top here, and that way this will sit flatter on the ground. I just think that'll work better for what I'm doing. But you can do it either way, but you'll see that it switches in the next scene. That's because I've gone back now and I've switched them. And if you're following along with me as I'm doing this, I don't want you to get down the road and realize you want to do it the other way. So this is the way I'm doing it with the nut and the washer on top. I've checked, it clears the seat, and so in the next scene you'll see them reversed, but that's because I had to go back and do this. All right, let me win.
Action.
All right, so I've got the nut and the washer on each one of these bolts. So the brackets are secured to the steel bar. Here, come over here and I'll show you. I've got the first one on already. So it's, if you want to show them what I've done here, it's latched on, just so we know it lines up with each of these latches on the bottom of the seat. And these line up as well. If you push down, your seat might be different, but on these, you push down and pull that handle out, and it allows that to go in. Same on this side. There we go. Looks good. All right, we put the seats in here just kind of to see where everything lines up. I've taped a line here because this position that it's in now is just enough. I've closed this to check. It's just enough. It's about a finger's width away from the glass. Actually, not from the glass, from this black section around the glass. So that comes down right there. There's plenty of room. You actually have a little bit of space behind the seats to put things. But if you look in here, I've put some painter's tape on the ground to show where that bar needs to be. I'm going to take this seat out, do the same thing to the bar in front, and then we'll drill the holes. All right, so there we go. 2 lines where the 2 bars need to go. It came with these. This is where the storage unit screwed into, so we're not going to use those, but we're going to find where the frame is located along these 2 lines, and then we'll drill through and bolt them on. Okay, so we've got both of our blue lines, one up there and one back here, and now we're going to drill our hole. The 2017 Chevy Suburban has a hole here already, but that's not centered. So if you're going to center it, you're going to need to put it over here. So it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches almost to the left. We're going to put it here at the 24-inch mark, and then we've measured halfway up. All right, so this is 3 inches, so 1.5 inches from there. So over right there. That's where we're putting it. Right, so there's our first hole, our middle hole. This is just really for stability, and I needed a point to measure from, so we know that that's the middle of both here and up on the bracket. But on this year of the Suburban, they have these pre-fabricated holes that, I mean, they're so close. They might even be made for this. I don't know. But they're so close to being exactly where we need it for that. We're just going to use those. I saw these when I was first looking under here to see if this project would work and where these reinforced sections of the frame are. I saw these holes and I thought, I wonder if that would line up, and it looks like it does. There's another set of them up there you can kind of see. So this is where we're at right now. All right, so I know I told you that we were going to bolt this back bracket into the frame of the car. Turns out, and these kinds of things happen when you're figuring something out as you go, but the frame that we're trying to bolt into lands right about where this bracket here ends. So there's no way I can get a bolt through that. This one was a little better. It was in here, but I still didn't know if the top of the bolt would keep this from clipping, for the seat from clipping into this bracket. So what I've done, if you want to come close here, what I've done is I've drilled 3 holes just into the body of the car here, or excuse me, 5 holes I was gonna have 3 holes, 2 in the frame, 1 in the middle, but now I've got 5 holes total. I'm gonna bolt those down, like I said, to the frame, and then, or to the body. And up here, I've drilled 2 holes, 1 in the frame on this side and 1 in the frame on this side. So these will be into the frame of the car. So the front one is still bolted in the frame of the car. The back one, I couldn't get bolted to the frame of the car. So I've just put 5 bolts into the body. And then I put 1 extra one in the middle on the front one. It's just into the body as well. So that's what I've done. I've just used a titanium drill bit that I've got, where did I go? Like this. So 1/2 inch titanium drill bit. I've just drilled through the carpet and through the metal, and it worked really, it was super easy. On the back, I checked to make sure the holes were gonna line up. There's nothing underneath it. Those were pretty clear, there's nothing back there. On the ones in front, there's a little bit that you have to get around, and you have to line it up with the frame hole. So I just drilled up from the underside on those, but it wasn't too hard at all. So now that I've got those holes drilled, I will finish piling the holes in this front bracket, and then we'll bolt it on and silicone around the bolts so everything's watertight, and that should be it. Okay, so all the holes are drilled, all the bolts are in. As you can see, like I said, the frame isn't even with the middle. So this one's way further off to that side than this side. But these 2 bolts do line up with those other 2 square holes. So if we would have been able to bolt these in, these are the exact lengths that we needed to match up with those prefabricated holes in the frame. Almost like it was made for something like this. But like I said, unfortunately, I couldn't figure out a way. The way I'm doing it, it doesn't work here. So we've got the 5 bolts into the body of the car. We've got the 2 bolts here into the frame in the front, and the 1 bolt into the body up here. So all it's left to do now, now that we've got it all in position, I've measured everything and we're at the right measurements. Obviously, like I said in the beginning, these 4-foot bars are exactly the size of the trunk space. So we've got to caulk those, or silicone those washers down below, and then fasten everything in, and that'll be just about it. Okay, so here are the bolts from the underside. These are the back ones. So there's 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then a 5th one over there. So this is what we've got. We've got these 2 washers we're going to put on here with a locking nut. So can you see that? Okay, so we're gonna put those on each one. We've got silicone here, and we're going to silicone around the hole, and then we're gonna tighten all those, and then we're gonna go up and here, scoot up here. We've got the same thing back here. So these are the other 3, and here are the ones in the frame. Well, if you can get that. Right there, yeah, there. So 1 in the frame, and then over here, it's kind of harder to see because behind this. That one might be a challenge to get the socket drill into, but we'll see. All right, okay, so I've got the silicone and put the washers on there. It's hard to do with one hand, but washer, blocking. And then I'll get the final nut, and it'll look like that. So I can't do it with one hand. I've got an extension. It looks really long from down here. I've got an extension for my ratchet drill, and I've got Theo, my son, up there holding the top. So I'm going to screw this on. shine the light on there. Okay, you see what it looks like with all of them done. So each bolt has 2 washers and a locking nut, and then a nut. And so there's 5 here. And then there's the 2 that are in the frame. That one was hard. It actually ended up being a little difficult to do. We put a longer bolt in there. There's the center one. So I'll show you guys what the bolts look like that I used here, but that's what it looks like from the underside. So I used 1/2-inch bolts to anchor the brackets to the frame of the car. I used one of these on the left side, if you're facing the front of the car, on the left side of the bracket to put it into the frame. And that was that one I said that was a little bit hard to get into. So that's 5 inches long, or 5.5 inches long. On the other side, I use this, which is 4 inches long. That went into the frame. And then on all the ones that I just put into the body of the car, I had 2-inch or 2.5-inch long bolts, the same width. So that's what I used. All right, this is what it looks like with one side in. So you can see the bracket down below, front and back. But here's the seat. I'm running out of light here, but here's what it looks like. So he's in that seat. I will have a rubber mat on top of these, and I'll cut holes for the brackets, but this is what it's like right now. I'll get the other one in and show you. All right, so here's what it looks like from the inside. You can see it back there. We can come around out here, and you can see it in the back there. So come over here. You can see there's the leg room. It's not a lot, but a little gap there. The back space is okay. There's a little bit of space back here. This is right about where I wanted it. I'm gonna close this and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's the clearance we've got. Actually, a little bit more than I anticipated. Theo, can you shine a light? There you go. A little bit more. So I was trying to get one finger. I've got 2 fingers on this side, 2 fingers on that side. So shine it down in here. So that's what we got as far as storage. You could put groceries back there. You could put a few things back there because you still have some room. All right, Theo, why don't you show them how easy it is to drop that down and get out the back.
Just pull the number 1.
Yep, now Sadie, you can hop out. There you go. All right, once you've got the seats laid down forward like that, you can actually lift up on 2, pull 3, and lay those up. So now you've got a little more space this way, or like it was before, you can set stuff on top. Or these come out like that, and you can remove them completely. All right, here's a rubber mat that I bought on Amazon to put underneath to kind of protect the carpeting. You can see I just cut those out. I found out where the brackets were, cut those out. Now they said in the instruction that this would flatten out, so, but it's kind of curled at the moment on both sides. However, that's what it looks like without the chair, but with the mat in. All right, there it is with one seat in it. You can see down there. The mat over there. All right, here it is all finished. I've added a step on the bumper. It also kind of protects the rear end in case the car gets rear-ended. But there it is. We'll open up the gate here. There you have it. That's what it looks like.